Greetings, class. Welcome to PE class. It's been a while. It's good to see you, kind of, or maybe it's good to see me. Welcome back to class. All right, I'm going to tell you what we're doing today in PE, or actually, you can do this any day that it's a nice weather day, whatever works with your family schedule. But welcome to PE class. Let's start with the Bible verse. Say it with, well, listen to me and I'll say it in short parts and you can repeat after me. Hebrews 12, verse 1. Hebrews 12, verse 1. Let us run with endurance the race set out before us. Let us run with endurance the race set out before us, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith. Looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith. All right, what we are doing today in PE class is this. We are doing Choice Athlon 2020, and here we have a picture of the logo. We have someone jump roping, someone skateboarding, hula hooping, rollerblading, scootering, running, and biking. Choice Athlon, you get to choose what you're going to do today. What you're going to do is you're going to make a race. And it sounds kind of like a triathlon. Raise your hand if you have heard of a triathlon before. All right, wish I could see you. A triathlon is a three-part race. There are different parts to the race, three of them. In a regular triathlon for grown-ups, the first part is the grown-up swim for 2.4 miles. I know, they swim in the water for 2.4 miles. It is very, very difficult to do. The second part of their race is a 112-mile bike ride. Wow, 112 miles, I know. And then finally, they finish with a run, a foot race, 26.2 miles. That's a whole marathon. So after they do all that swimming and all that biking, then they run a full marathon. All right, so that's what a triathlon is. Today, we are doing a choice athlon. And because you get to choose your two parts of your race, we are going to call it a choice athlon because you get to choose your three parts. And I'm pretty much guessing since it's spring in Minnesota and it's kind of chilly outside, nobody's going to choose swimming unless you have an indoor pool at your house. Raise your hand if you have an indoor pool. Your bathtub does not count. No, it doesn't. Okay. So choosing some activities. So looking at the logo, what are some ideas of things that you have at your house with your family that you could use for a three-part race? Well, if you have a bike, one of your parts of your race could be a bike ride. And you all have feet, so you can all choose running or walking as part of your race, and maybe you have a scooter, or maybe you have a skateboard and you want to do that for your third part, or maybe you have a jump rope or a hula hoop or rollerblades. Okay, maybe you could borrow something from an older or a younger sibling to use for your choice athlon. Three parts of a race. All right, first step, you need to plan your course. You need to plan the path where you are going to run. So at school, when I put out cones in the gym or cones out in the field, that's your course. You have to run around the cones. Well, you might not have cones at home, so where will you race? Well, if you live in town, say you live in Watertown or Mayer or Waconia or Luster Prairie or any other town, if you live in town and there are other houses nearby, could you do a loop around your neighborhood? Could you go down your street and back to your house again? Here's a picture of a good spot to run one of your race. This is a nice, safe sidewalk. So you could run down the sidewalk, you could bike down the sidewalk, you could scooter down the sidewalk, and you are going to be safe because there are no cars driving here. Please, if you have a sidewalk to use, really strongly consider using that. Also, make sure you're asking your parents where a safe place to run a race would be in your neighborhood, and your parents can be out there with you. All right, this is a picture of a map of my neighborhood. I live in Mayer in the Hidden Creek development, and I got a map off of the internet and I marked it in orange, and then this blue dot is my start finish line. So this all the way around is almost 1 mile. So I have a big course. Your course doesn't have to be that big. It can be whatever works for you. So if you live in town, definitely use those sidewalks if you need to. If your parents don't want you to leave the yard, You could run laps around your house or laps around the perimeter of your property, around the edges of your property, and you just decide how many times are you going to run around the house? How many times are you going to bike around your house? How many times are you going to hula hoop around your house? You decide on your course. Now, if you live in the country, you have so much more space to choose from. If you live in the country, where could you run your race? Could you go down your driveway and back, especially if you have a long driveway? That might be an option. Could you run a lap around the perimeter of your property? Like if you live on a farm and you have lots of farm buildings and a few roads that go between the farm buildings, could you do a lap around on some of those roads or around the outside of your perimeter? Or could you run around your house a few times? You need to decide how many laps or how far to run. Some people, if it's safe to go on your road, if there's not a lot of cars on the road and your parents say it's okay, could you run down the road a little bit and run back? Maybe you have a grandparent that lives just a little bit down the road. Could you run there and run back, and that's one lap? Or run to a cone or the mailbox and back. You choose. And please talk to your parents about what works for you. All right, here's a picture of a farm. So if this was your farm, you could go down this road and around and come back, and this could be one loop. Or you could go around this triangle part, around this tree, and just do this triangle part like 5 times. It's your choice. This is probably not your farm. If you have a long driveway in the country, here's a picture of a long road. You could go down to the curb and back, or all the way down to the road and back. It's up to you. You plan your course. So that was step 1. Step 2, you need to plan your 3 parts of your race. Now, looking at the Choice Athlon logo, remember, here are some ideas, but you might have more fun things at your home too. You might have a playground, and one lap of your course is to do an obstacle course on your swing set or your climber for a little bit of time, and then go back to running around your house. Or maybe if you have a trampoline, you would bounce on your trampoline for 5 minutes, and then you would run 5 laps around your house, and finally you would bike 5 laps up and down your long driveway. Just some ideas. Use the fun things that you have at your house. Here's an example. Part 1 of your race. You could bike. Part 2, you could run. And part 3, you could use maybe a scooter if you have a scooter. Try and have one of your 3 parts be running or walking using your feet, because that's what we all have. All right, so once again, looking at the logo, Choice Athlon, some ideas: jump roping, skateboarding, hula hooping. You could do cartwheeling or do some types of gymnastics things. If you're in karate, you could do some karate moves across your yard and back. Rollerblading, running, scootering, biking, whatever you have at home. Choice Athlon 2020. All right. As a bonus idea, if you really like this idea and you want to make a design, a race bib, kind of like the picture here, you could make one using a computer, or you can just get out crayons or markers. Here is an example of Mrs. Oryx's race bib that I made on computer, and you would pin it on with safety pins, or you could tape it on if you want. You don't have to do this, but it's something fun that you might want to do. Another bonus idea is you could time your race. How long does it take you to do 5 laps around your house running, 5 laps biking, and then 5 laps cartwheeling? Ooh, you get really dizzy, but you get what I mean. Time your race from the start to the finish, all 3 parts. Or another bonus, take a picture of yourself while you are running your race. Take a picture while you're running, or take a picture standing next to your bike afterwards or beforehand. And feel free to have your parents email me that picture or email it to your teacher. And then maybe, who knows, that picture might show up in the school yearbook. So that is all for PE class. I hope you have fun planning and participating in your own race that you are going to design. Remember, it's a choice athlon, so you need to choose 3 activities and then run your race. And for a bonus, you could time your race. You can make a nice little racing bib number, or you could take a picture and send it to your teacher or send it to me. You might need your parents' help for that one. But have fun. Thanks for joining me in PE class. You can do this anytime, all summer long, whatever you want. So, all right. Goodbye.